Outsiders by S.C. Hinton, considered by many critics as one of the most influential American novels, is a coming-of-age story that details the conflicts between two rival gangs divided by socio-economic class set in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The scene I chose is when Ponyboy, the main character, returns home after a night out and conflicts with his older brother Derry, who is meant to support him in the aftermath of their parents' death. I chose this book because it was crucial to my understanding that troubled youth are ultimately no different than me because they're confused and scared and fighting to find their place in the house, only they are much stronger in their ability to continue to love and laugh. Now, The Outsiders by S.C. Hinton. I ran home, trembling at the thought of facing Derry. The porch light was on. Maybe they were asleep and I could sneak in, I thought. I peeked in the window. Soda Pop was stretched out on the sofa, sound asleep, but Dari was in the armchair under the lamp, reading the newspaper. I gulped and opened the door softly. Dari looked up from the lamp, and he was on his feet in a second. I stood there, chewing on my fingernail. Where the heck have you been? Do you know what time it is? He was madder than I'd seen him in a long time. I shook my head wordlessly. Well, it's 2 in the morning, kiddo. Another hour, and I would have had the police out after you. Where were you, pony boy? His voice was rising. Where in the almighty universe were you? It sounded dumb, even to me, when I stammered, I went to sleep in the lot. You what? He was shouting, and Soda Pop sat up and rubbed his eyes. Hey, pony boy, he said sleepily. Where you been? I didn't mean to, I pleaded with Derry. I was talking to Johnny and we both dropped off. I reckon it never occurred to you that your brothers might be worrying their heads off and afraid to call the police because something like that could get you to thrown in a boys' home so quick and make your head spin. And you're asleep in the lot? Ponyboy, what on earth is the matter with you? Can't you use your head? You haven't even got a coat on. I felt hot tears of anger and frustration rising. I said I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to, Dari shouted, and I almost shook. I didn't think. I forgot. That's all I hear out of you. Can't you think of anything? Dari, Soda Pop began, but Dari turned on me. You keep your trap shut. I'm sick and tired of hearing you stick up for him. He should never yell at Soda. Nobody should ever holler at my brother. I exploded. You don't yell at him, I shouted. Larry wheeled around and slapped me so hard that it knocked me against the door. Suddenly, it was deathly quiet. We had all frozen. Nobody in my family had ever hit me. Nobody. Soda was wide-eyed. Larry looked at the palm of his hand, where it had turned red, and then looked back at me. His eyes were huge. Pony boy, I turned and ran out the door and down the street as fast as I could. Dari screamed, Pony, I didn't mean to! But I was at the lot by then and pretended I couldn't hear. I was running away. It was plain to me that Dari didn't want me around, and I wouldn't stay if he did. He wasn't ever going to hit me again. Johnny, I called, and started when he rolled over and jumped up almost under my feet. Come on, Johnny, we're running away. Johnny asked no questions. We ran for several blocks until we were out of breath. Then we walked. I was crying by then. I finally just sat down on the curb and cried, burying my face in my arms. Johnny sat down beside me, one hand on my shoulder. Easy, pony boy, he said softly. We'll be okay. Johnny, I'm scared. Well, don't be. You're scaring me. What happened? I never seen you bawl like that. I don't very often. It was scary. He hit me. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't take him hollering at me and hitting me too. I don't know, sometimes we get along okay, but then all of a sudden he blows up on me or else is nagging at me all the time. He didn't used to be like that. We used to get along okay before mom and dad died. Now he just can't stand me. I was beginning to relax and wonder if running away was such a great idea. I was sleepy and freezing to death, and I wanted to be home in bed, safe and warm under the covers with Soda's arm across me. I decided I would go home and just not speak to Dari. It was my house as much as Dari's, and if he wanted to pretend I wasn't alive, that was just fine with me. He couldn't stop me from living in my own house. Let's walk to the park and back. Then maybe I'll be cooled off enough to go home. Okay, Johnny said easily. Okay. Things gotta get better, I figured. They couldn't get worse. I was wrong.